Well, welcome. What I want to make sure that we talk about tonight for all of you is just that our nutrition and our diets play a big role in how you heal, how you do with adjustments, and ultimately how well your body handles life. We've created anti-inflammatory programs here to help you in succeeding in dietary changes and succeeding in making good choices and guides and ways to do that. Now, we try to label this to back to school because I found during the summer for most people, routines are lost. In chiropractic, at least getting here and getting on a table regularly is a good routine. Can easily be interrupted by lots of different things, vacations, work keeps you over. There's a lot of excuses that can get in our way. One of the most important things, though, is keeping routines in our daily life. Our bodies crave routine. They absolutely crave routines. Your body wants rhythm. Now think about life, there's cycles. There's day and there's night, right? There's the seasons. Our bodies want routines. They want cycles. When we throw them off and we get off routine and off our cycles, our bodies absolutely let us know about them. We'll typically get more stiff, more sore, more agitated, more painful. We probably start to gain weight. We may have a harder time thinking, have that brain fog. But when our bodies are not in good routine and we are not treating them well, we know it. But it's sometimes such a slow process that we don't know what we've lost until it's gone. That's probably a statement. We don't know what we've lost until it's gone. I can't tell you the amount of people that I've adjusted for the first time in their neck, and they come back the next day and go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this, but I wasn't turning my head to back my car out of the driveway. I was using my whole body to do it. And now I can just turn my head and I can see. They had no idea that they weren't turning their head, because your body will compensate all day long for all kinds of problems. And if you slowly deteriorate and degenerate to a point where your body has now become dysfunctional and you're used to a certain amount of function you may consider normal, but your body by no means is functioning at a normal level. Especially nowhere where it probably used to. But you don't probably even remember or know where it was unless we bring that back. In chiropractic, when we adjust you and we reset the body, that can sometimes start that healing crisis, I might call it, where your body initially gets a boost of energy and feeling good, but then almost feels worse a day or two later because it now is going back to its old patterns. The same patterns that you felt were normal or felt fine. Your body is always giving you feedback. We want to help your body give the best feedback. That's why we adjust you. It's also why we want to talk about getting back to routines. Now that school might be starting back or the fall is starting back, getting back to routines is wonderful for our bodies. So we might use the change in our schedules if you have them, or if you don't, it's okay, that seasonal change, to start making better routines and better habits. And that is really what I want to touch on. Now, with that being said, there's a couple different options in our office in order to try to change your diet to a better pattern, to a better way. There's really aggressive ways, meaning that you're going to sharply change everything that you're eating or eliminate a lot of junk, or there could be very mild, moderate ways to do this. It might be as simple as adding more water to your diet first, and then maybe adding more vegetables and taking away some of the excessive amount of carbs or sugars that you're eating. There may be ways in which you can start daily to make changes so that you end at a better place than you started by just making 1 degree of change every day. So there's a lot of ways to attack this. What we really want to talk a little bit about our shape drops. These shape drops are a wonderful way to do 4 major things in your body. And anytime you're going to make some changes, if they be in your routine of eating especially, but just in your lifestyle, these drops can be helpful. So I'm going to talk a little bit about homeopathic or nanomolecular drops, how they work, and what's the difference between those and maybe a nutritional supplement too. Because your body does need certain macronutrients, carbs and fats and proteins. It needs micronutrients, meaning vitamins and minerals, and those are essential. Your body can create some of these things, but most of them you need from your food. Some of our workshops from a couple weeks ago when Aaron was here, our soil is drastically depleted in minerals and nutrients and vitamins. We are in a farming crisis when it comes to getting the nutrients out of our soil and into our bodies. Our bodies are only as strong and healthy as our soil, and our soils are very well depleted. So we need to find ways to get better nutrients in our body. That's why we like our Think Zinc product. That's probably one of the number one things I would tell people to get for a nutritional product. But when it comes to making changes and helping your brain, your neurology, and your chemistry change along with your need to make changes in your diet and your lifestyle, that's what nanomolecular drops are all about. To give you a little history on on homeopathy or homeopathic medicine. Dr. Hahnemann was the original German physician who theorized that if we gave a little bit of a plant or an herb or something that caused major problems, but only gave a little bit of it, it would actually help with those problems. So it's a like treats like approach. Not exactly like a vaccination. So let me explain how this works. Let's say in his studies, what he would do, he'd have people overconsume a certain plant or herb. And let's say that herb that you would overconsume made you nauseous and sick. So what he would do is he would take that herb and he would percuss it down and then dilute it with water. And then he would take that dilution, take that water that he'd created, and he would take that out and then he'd dilute that again. So that was like a 50-50, then it was like a 1-to-2. Then he would do a 1-to-3, then a 1-to-4. He'd keep diluting it down until the energetic properties of that water still had an essence or a signaling to the body of what that herb would do to make you sick and nauseous. But it was just enough that would stimulate your body that may be feeling sick and nauseous to feel great. It would actually help people who felt sick and nauseous. Even if they'd consumed too much of it, they would feel sick. But if they already were having symptoms of issues and took that, they would actually be better. So it's a like treats like. Another example, he'd actually take bee stingers and dilute them down to the point where you probably wouldn't know that there's a bee stinger in this dilution of water. But a bee stings you, you'd be hot and red and swollen. So if some people were dealing with hot and red and swollen joints, they would do a homeopathic tincture of bee stinger. Now it didn't have a lot of bee stingers in it. It was diluted down, but that would actually help their joints. So the same ideas have been used to create these homeopathic drops. The main purpose of these drops is to do brain chemistry changes and help your body in a couple different ways. Number one, boost your immune system. Our immune systems are under attack and they're overloaded by stress. We want to help boost your immune system by reducing the stress on your body. The second thing these drops are going to do is help you detoxify. When you're starting to make changes in your diet, you're changing your lifestyle back to a better way, your body usually has toxins that need to be gotten rid of. That's wonderful. So this is going to help with that. The third thing that it's going to do is going to help reduce excessive fat. So if someone has excessive fat in their body, one way that will help burn that off faster is these drops, because it's going to help turn your body's metabolism on. We want to balance your hormones. That's what these drops are going to do. But on a nanomolecular level, we're not forcing your hormones to change. We're allowing your body's chemistry to do the work by changing that. So our hope is with these drops that we very gently, and this is the beauty of homeopathic medicine or nanomolecular technology, is these drops very gently change your body's chemistry so that you are able to have less cravings for the junk that you may be craving. You'll have less of a detoxification reaction when you do change. If you're eating foods or drinking drinks that cause your body to become toxic, when you remove those, your body actually will crave them. That's what most food in our environment right now is addictive, and it's been created that way to keep you buying that food. But those addictive chemicals, when they're removed, can have the same reaction as if you removed a drug or alcohol. You'd have a detox reaction. You'd have a withdrawal, and you'd feel lightheaded. You might feel foggy. You might have headaches. You might feel nauseous. You might feel sick. All the things that are put into this bottle are those things that are going to turn that off so that you can keep making the changes you know you should, but not having as much of the side effect in doing so. So that's why we have these drops. If someone wanted to take these as just like a general multiple vitamin every day, it's not really a multiple vitamin, but it's a general support. It will help reduce inflammation, improve your immune system, and detoxify your body. And in the end, the side effect, usually most people lose excessive weight. Now, if you add these drops to just your diet, you'll probably have some changes. You might not feel as hungry. Your satiety will be reduced. Most people who go on these drops, we sometimes have to tell them or remind them that they need to still eat regularly, just maybe not need as much as they did, or the same things, because these drops can turn off your appetite if need be. What we also will find is if you add a dietary change to the drops, you'll have significant changes very quickly. Most people will drop pounds in a week easily, and a lot of times that's inflammation that your body's getting rid of, extra fluids and junk from your body. That's what these drops will help with. So when it comes to making changes, the one thing that I want to kind of bring this into the family aspect of this is that if you have children, your children are going to eat what you eat. They're going to do what you do. If you start making changes in your house, it's a family change. A lot of our patients who try to do the changes just for themselves and still let everyone else do their thing in their house, it becomes a struggle because they are more tempted. They're not all on the same page. So if you can, and you're trying to get back to school, making healthier choices, packing healthier options in your lunch, and if you go on ShapeReClaimed.com, they have a ton of recipes that are lower glycemic index, lower carb. It's more of a ketogenic diet. It will teach you lots of ways you can make pancakes. We call them pan fakes. Instead of with flour, you make them with flax seeds. Flax seeds are wonderful for inflammation reduction and for balancing hormones. But there's so many things you can learn to tweak and make without sugars. Maybe using a little monk fruit, a little stevia, and without less grains. This is more of a grain-free diet that will help your body really make changes to better. And your kids will love the things if you're able to start to introduce it slowly and little bits at a time. But go on ShapeReClaimed.com and look for some of those recipes. The program itself works best with the products and usually some supplemental things. We've talked about the minerals, liquid minerals we use here, but your body needs a certain amount of balance. And the hope is that if you want to make changes, that we've given you something that can help you make it a little easier. But if we don't make the changes, we can't expect things to be different. Now, if you've gotten adjusted for years here and there's some nagging problems, there's a good chance that the adjustments aren't going to do the next step. It's probably reducing inflammation and reducing excessive weight. And that helps the SHAPE program. Now in our SHAPE program, there's two ways that some people can start that if you want to start a full program. The SHAPE program can be monitored by myself and Lisa. She monitors your urine every week and she follows through with this guidebook that's very detailed on exactly what to eat. Usually I've found if you don't have accountability, it's very easy for us to fail. So having a partner, if you do this, I would definitely suggest doing it with a partner, and I would suggest doing it also with some coaching, which is what me and Lisa would provide. Now there is kind of a do-it-yourself option. It's called the 30-day anti-inflammatory challenge. That is going to be 30 days and with a very specifically laid out exactly what to eat every day, and you use the SHAPE drops as well for the cravings, but this is more on your own, where the SHAPE program is something you would do with some support. They both would be about a month long in process, and they come with a couple different products to help support you. But the biggest thing here is that these drops were made to help your brain change your chemistry and make the changes you want faster. That's what these SHAPE drops are all about. All right, have a good night. Bye-bye.